Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to discuss an important topic in education, which is how can teachers encourage students to participate actively in the lesson. Active participation is one of the key elements of effective learning. When students actively participate, they are not only listening to information but also engaging with ideas, asking questions, sharing opinions, and collaborating with others. This helps them understand lessons more deeply and retain knowledge for a longer period. However, encouraging participation is not always easy. Many students feel shy, lack confidence, fear making mistakes, or simply lose interest during lessons. Therefore, teachers play a crucial role in creating a learning environment that motivates students to become actively involved. In this discussion, we will share our views on several strategies that teachers can use to encourage actively participation, including interactive teaching method, positive classroom environments, collaborative learning, and the use of technology. To begin, I would like to share my first point. One of the most effective ways to encourage participation is through interactive teaching strategies. Traditional lecturers often make students passive because they only listen to information without contributing to the learning process. Therefore, teachers should incorporate active activities such as group discussions, brainstorming sessions, role-playing education games, and presentations. For example, instead of simply explaining a topic, a teacher can divide students into a group and ask them to solve a problem together. This allows students to communicate, think critically, and share ideas. Another useful strategy is asking open-ended questions. Instead of asking questions that require only yes or no answer, teachers can ask questions that encourage discussion and critical thinking. For example, rather than asking, "Do you understand that the lesson?" a teacher can ask, "Why do you think this concept is important in real life?" Such questions encourage students to think more deeply and express their opinion. I believe that when lessons are engaging and interactive, students become more motivated to participate. Now, I would like to hear ANIQ opinion.
Okay, thank you, Alif. And first of all, I agree that interactive activities can significantly increase student participation. And beside teaching strategies, I believe that creating a positive classroom environment is equally important. This is because many students nowadays remain silent because they are afraid of making mistakes. They are worried that their classmate may laugh at them or that their answer may be wrong. For example, mm, when teacher asks the student some question, so these students can answer one answer the teacher's question because they are afraid of making a wrong answer and making mistake, so they are lack of confidence to answer this type of question. And therefore, teachers also need to create a classroom atmosphere where students feel safe, respected, and valued. Mm, when students know that mistakes are part of learning, they become more confident in expressing their ideas. So teachers need to support them, even though the answer was wrong or what. So the teachers play a significant role here to um, correcting them in both in answering the question and others. So teachers can achieve this by responding positively to student contribution. For example, even if a student answer is like I say, even if the student answer is not entirely correct, the teacher can say that's an interesting idea. Let's explore it further. So the student can feel that they are not 100% wrong with their answer. And instead of immediately teacher saying that's wrong, you can say positive reinforcement is another important factor. Simple praise such as good job, excellent, well done, and thank you for sharing your opinion can greatly boost student confidence in classes. In addition, teachers also should encourage teamwork. As we all know, group activities allow students to discuss ideas in smaller settings before sharing them with the whole class. Many students who are hesitate, hesitant to speak in front of the entire class can feel more com- eh, comfortable participating in smaller groups first before sharing their opinions uh, for the whole class. And as a result, collaborative learning can help build confidence and encourage greater participation in students. And now I would like to ask Alif a question. You mentioned that group discussion are effective. However, some students tend to rely on their friends and contribute very little during group work. How can teachers ensure equal participation among all the members?
Thank you, Anik, for the question. I think this is a challenge faced by many teachers. One effective solution is assigning specific roles to each group member. For example, we have a group leader, secretary, presenter, researcher, and timekeeper. When students are given responsibilities, they become more accountable for their contribution. Teachers can also monitor group by discussion by moving around the classroom and observing students' involvement. What do you think, Hazwan?
For addition, if a student is not participating, the teacher can encourage them by asking direct questions such as, what do you think about this idea? Or would you like to add anything to the discussion? Another strategy is individual assessment. If students know that their individual participation will be evaluated, they are more likely to contribute in any activity. Therefore, the proper planning and monitoring are essential to ensure successful in group activities. However, let's move on and focus on another important factor, which is technology. We are living in a digital age, and students nowadays are highly familiar with technology because they always use them, especially in media social. Instead of viewing technology as a distraction, teachers can use it as a tool to increase engagement and participation. For example, teachers can use interesting platforms such as Kahoot, Quizzes, Google Classroom, and Padlet. These interesting platforms allow students to participate in quizzes, discussions, and classroom activities. Students who are shy about speaking in front of others may feel more comfortable expressing their opinions through digital platforms. Technology can also make lessons more interesting through videos, animations, simulations, and interactive presentations. As a result, students become more attentive and motivated to participate in any activity. However, technology technology alone cannot guarantee active participation. Teachers must know how to use the technology effectively so that we can ensure that it supports learning objectively. I would like to ask both speakers questions. Nowadays, students spend a lot of time on social media and entertainment applications. How can teachers compete with these distractions and keep students engaged during the lessons?
That's a very relevant question. Personally, I don't think teachers should compete with the technology. Instead, teachers should integrate technology into their lesson. Students enjoy using digital device, so teachers can incorporate activities that involve online quizzes, collaborative digital projects, and educational applications. When learning becomes interactive and technology-based, students are naturally more interested in participating.
Yes, I agree. And at the same time, teachers should also establish clear classroom expectation regarding technology use. Students should understand when technology is being used for studying and when it becomes a distraction. Teachers can also vary their teaching methods to maintain student attention. If students are exposed to the same teaching style every single day, they may become bored. So, as a teacher, you need to have the ability to read the rooms. You need to learn that kinds of ability to know that to see that when your students are bored with your teaching style. And for teachers, nowadays teachers should combine teaching style such as discussion by videos, group work, uh, games such as quizzes and so on, and technology based activity.
That's a very good point. I agree that variety is important because students have different learning styles and preference. They also have limit with their abilities.
Mm.
Some students learn better through visual materials such as pictures and videos, while others understand lessons more effectively through listening, reading, and hands-on activities. By using a variety of teaching methods, teachers can make lessons more interesting and engaging for all students. This also helps students stay motivated, participate actively in the class, and improve their understanding of the subject. As a result, every student has a better opportunity to learn successfully and achieve their full potential in class.
Hmm. Yeah, yes, I absolutely agree with you. And I would like to raise another question. And do you guys think that participation always means speaking in front of the class, or what kind of ways? Any other ways for participation?
I think that's not necessarily, but participation can take many forms. For example, answering questions, writing reflections, participating in group discussions, completing collaborative tasks, uh, and contributing ideas online. Some students are naturally introverts and may prefer expressing themselves through writing rather than speaking. Teachers should recognize different forms of participation and provide opportunities for all students to contribute.
I completely agree. Inclusive participation is very important. The goal is not to force the students to speak publicly, but to ensure that every student is actively involved in the learning process. For example, teachers can use anonymous online polls where students can share their own opinions without feeling nervous or scared. This encourages the participation from students who might otherwise remain silent. Okay, we move on to the question. I would like to ask another question. Okay, I would like to ask another question. Do rewards help encourage the participation of students in class?
Okay, I would like to answer that questions. And in my opinion, I think that rewards can be effective. However, rewards do not necessarily need to be material rewards. Teachers can provide praise, certificates, extra credit, or recognition in a class. This form of encouragement can motivate students to participate more actively. So, um, when teachers uh, give rewards to the students, so they are more like in a competition, will be more motivated to answer this question rather than remain silent.
Yes, I agree with ANIQ. However, teachers should also encourage intrinsic motivations. Students should participate because they enjoy learning and understand the value of education, not only because they expect rewards. Teachers can help students see how classroom activities relate to real life situations. When students understand the relevance of what they are learning, they become naturally motivated to participate.
That's true. I agree that intrinsic motivation often produces longer lasting engagement than external rewards. When students are genuinely interested in learning, they are more likely to stay focused, participate actively, and continue improving even without receiving any prizes or praise. Although external rewards can encourage students in the short term, intrinsic, intrinsic motivation help them to develop more genuinely love for learning.
Okay, now I would like to ask about what challenge do teachers nowadays face when trying to encourage participation among the students?
I think one major challenge is a large class size. When there are many students in a class, it's become difficult for teachers to give equal attention to everyone. Some students may become overlooked and remain passive. So teacher must be more proactive when teaching teaching so students can learn effectively.
Another challenge.
Another challenge is differences in students' abilities and personalities. Some students are very confident, while others are still struggle with self-confidence. Teachers must know and find ways to support all the students regardless of their backgrounds or and abilities.
Okay, and I also would like to add about time constraint can also be a challenge for teachers because teachers often have limited time to complete the syllabus while also encouraging meaningful participation. Mm, Balancing these responsibilities requires careful planning and effective classroom management so that the student can learn in effective way, can get the can get a meaningful things from the classes, and even though the teachers can complete the syllabus.
That's a very good point from the two of you. Uh, Before we conclude, I would like to ask one final question. If you could give one piece of advice to future teachers, what would it be?
I think my advice is to know your student well. When you know every student is unique, and understanding their needs, interests, and personalities can help teachers design lessons that encourage participation. So, when you know your student well, you can control the control all of your students. So, when you know your student well, you can control the all of the students.
And one of my advice to the future teachers is to be patient. Building confidence takes time, especially for shy students. Teachers should continue encouraging students and celebrate even small improvement. By doing these small things for the student, it can help them. It can motivate them to be more confident in the future.
My advice is to remain creative and adaptable. Education is constantly changing by time, and teachers should be willing to explore new methods and technologies to keep students engaged and help them in their lessons. For the conclusion, we can conclude that active participation is essential for effective learning because it improves understanding, confidence, communication skill, and critical thinking.
And for me, teachers can encourage participation by using interactive teaching methods, creating a positive classroom environment, and providing constructive feedback and encouragement.
Furthermore, collaborative learning and technology can help students a lot become more engaged and motivated to contribute during their lessons. Although challenges such as shyness, lack of confidence, and distraction exist, these challenges can be overcome through creativity, patience, and effective teaching strategies.
And ultimately, every student has the potential to participate actively when given the right opportunities and support. So, the teachers need to find a way to making the student expressing themselves in a class so that no students are missing are miss the opportunity.
Therefore, teachers should strive to create classrooms where all the students feel valued, respected, and confident enough to contribute in their class.
Thank you for your attention. We hope this discussion has provided useful insights into how teachers can encourage students to participate actively in the lesson. Have a great day and thank you.